been here for nearly 2 hours and I've had quite a few rudd, nice rudd actually. One tench and a gudgeon which came off, which doesn't count. It's looking like hard work today on the mystery. I need 4 more varieties of fish. I was really banking on mystery being the one where I could get a few. If I don't get at least a couple of different species on here, it's not going to happen. 15, it's not going to happen. But still, it's nice. The breeze is a bit chilly, which actually is alright for me. But I've got a little robin friend, as you do on most of the swims here. He keeps coming around stealing my maggot. Where he's gone now, I can hear him. Oh, no, it's not him. Yeah, we have got a couple of more anglers here. They're not really catching anything either. Maybe it's just a bit out of sorts this morning. So, give it a go. I've got to stop at probably about 2, the very latest 3 o'clock. Because I'm off to a barbecue. It is Senya's birthday today. Happy birthday. For today, in the past. But it will be in the past by the time I put the video out. So, I'm going to be filling my belly full of meats and drinking lots and lots of alcohol. But it'd be nice to celebrate as well, catching a gudgeon at least, because I know there was one in my swim. Oh, I just can't seem to get anything at the minute except tench, which is no bad thing, I suppose. There we go. Hey, yet another one. God, I must have had 30 or 40 of these sort of tench now. But they've just sort of suddenly woken up. But I'm not after tench now, am I? Oh. I think, because time is running out now, I might have to come back here another day and try again. I don't know what's happened to the all the other fish for that matter. I get the odd perch here and there, but the tench are just insistent on being caught today. Well, certainly this week. Every lake I've been on, the tench have been very, very forthcoming. If you were after a tench fishing week at Angler's Paradise, this is the week. But, you know, if you don't keep trying, you don't keep getting. I do enjoy the mystery lake though. It's quite peaceful. The other 2 chaps who fished this morning have gone. They've moved on to the Carp lake, I think, beginner's carp. It's going to get beaten up by them. So again, it's back to being really peaceful, just me on my own. I must admit the wind is still a little chilly. And a little bit of me was thinking, I've got another sort of hour and a half or so left. I'm wondering if I want to move swims and try somewhere else, maybe just to get away from the tench for a little bit. But I'm not sure. I'll think it over. I think if I keep catching tench, it might be a good idea, because I think they will sort of bully into the swim a little bit. But we shall see, we shall see. almost as if to answer that question, I've only just switched the camera off. A gudgeon. Finally managed to get one in. I did hook one earlier and it pinged off a line. But look, a gorgeous little gonk. Hard won, I tell you that. Absolutely hard won. But as we all know, I love a mini species, and the gudgeon is certainly another species, and certainly a mini one. Fantastic. Crazy, isn't it, fishing? Just as I was thinking about moving on, the gudgeon have just moved in. Look at them. Decent size too. It's a fairly chunky gudgeon. If I get a really big gudgeon, then I certainly will weigh it. Because you never know, do you? That's why I always carry mini scales with me, because you never know. You could be catching lots of little mini species, and you might just be chucking them back completely unweighed, and you could be getting specimen fish. I don't have any doubt that there's some much bigger gudgeon in here, and potentially some specimen ones. Perhaps I ought to do a bottle of wine for a specimen gudgeon. I'd certainly be up for that, that's for sure. You know, whilst you're at Angler's Paradise, if you catch currently anyway, if you catch a 20-pound carp, a 30-pound catfish, I'm feeling it was an 8-pound koi. It might have been increased since I last was here, but it used to be an 8-pound koi. A 4-pound orf, or 5-pound orf, or a 5-pound tench, or above, you get like a prize, which is usually a bottle of Ziggy wine, for your achievements and your expert angling skills. I haven't come anywhere near any of those this time. I think if I was not doing this species challenge, I probably could be catching some slightly bigger fish, and certainly on the waters where the slightly bigger fish are, and I would stand a chance. But not this week. Not this week. I just want to catch lots of fish this week and enjoy myself. I'm going to be honest with you all now. I've had this little tiny fish in my landing net for a little while, because I was like, is that Crucian? Is it not? Is it a goldfish? And the more I've sat and thought about it, the more I thought, do you know, I just have a feeling that if I catch a Crucian carp, I'll know it's a Crucian carp. I know that the fish I've just caught is a Crucian carp. How about that? A little bar of buttery gold. Beautiful little Crucian. Absolutely amazing. These are actually quite a new species of fish which have been added to Angler's Paradise. And I am absolutely over the moon to get one. Gorgeous in that sun. Oh, I could look at it for ages, but what I'm going to do is pop it in the net and grab a photo. Well, I'm going to untangle the maggots from the net first. Pop the net in the water, of course, whilst I'm setting up the camera. But I am delighted for what was a really, really hard time on Mystery Lake, which is so unusual, to getting two species. word. Oh my word. Oh my word, oh my word. Don't come off, don't come off. This is going to be... Oh my word. Maybe my... Oh my word. Catching lots of little teeny tiny rudd. And all of a sudden, you come up with a clonking great big rudd. Well, by comparison. Oh. Net's here, don't worry. Oh. Look at that. Catching lots of bits of lily in there. Oh, I might have to get my scales out for that one. And my biggest golden rudd I've just looked up is 8 ounces from Ashmore Lakes. Back in the day. Oh, drop the bag. There we are, put the fish in there, won't do any harm. So if this is bigger than 8 ounces, it's a new personal best. It is. Whoa. Oh, do you know? I can't give myself 10, but I can give myself 9. 9 ounces. And that is enough to be a brand new personal best. Golden rudd. Not my biggest rudd, of course, but it's certainly my biggest golden rudd. Wonderful. Right, let's better get a proper look at it. Doing the loop-de-loop. There we are. Fantastic. How red the fins are. Mystery Lake. Never know what you're going to get. It's ups and downs today. It really is. Oh, I've just broken my camera stand, but you're currently sat on, but I've kind of lashed it together and it's holding together. Luckily I've got a really cheap spare which will probably break as well, so maybe I'll ask Teggy or someone up in the up in the place. But it's all going on. For every low there is a high, and we've got another high. I get into position. It's only a very small fish, but it's still a fish. When it stops jumping around, I'll show you what species it is. A little tiny chub, little chublet. Absolutely wonderful. Another Angler's Paradise species from the Mystery Lake. You never know what's going to happen on the Mystery Lake. And this is proof. And so is my broken camera stand. Fantastic. Oh, look, you can see what sort of day I've had, look. Full of fish, which is really nice. Oh, it's good to be back. Chill out and relax for a little bit. So, Mystery Lake, well, it was still fairly mysterious. Don't know why it started off so slowly, perhaps the weather. But as soon as it warmed up, it was tench. Honestly, I caught so many tench and so many rudd that I didn't film them all. You'd be mad with them. We've had enough golden tench already so far, haven't we? But finally caught a glorious little gudgeon that I had my heart set on, really. That's why I went on to mystery, as I wanted to get myself a gudgeon. A proper Crucian carp and a nice little chub. So we're sitting pretty at 14 varieties of fish. Only problem is now, as I've mentioned, it just gets harder and harder as it goes on, trying to find different species, different types of fish. Really, I need to find a lake with some orf on. I really need to find some on the surface so I can sightsee them and can catch them like that. I've got a few ideas of where to go to try and get an orf. Hopefully at least an orf. I don't mind if it's golden or blue, ideally both. But tomorrow is going to be my wild card, where I've spent a little bit of money. I'm going to go on to more of a specimen-y kind of lake. In fact, it's beyond specimen. It is going to be the Trout Lake. Now, I am no fly fisherman, so there's a very, very good chance I'll catch no trout at all. But any different types of trout I do catch we'll head towards my final total, which will be very good. Can you imagine me getting some rainbow or tiger or brown trout on the list? Could all end tomorrow with the 15, and it could just be beyond that from here on in. Or I could just get nothing, no new species for the rest of the week. We shall see. Hopefully my fly casting isn't too rusty, which clearly it is. And we'll give it a go. Wish me luck. And here we are at the Trout Lake at Angler's Paradise. This used to be Fat Boys Lake. You could come down and fill your boots with loads and loads of carp. They were very, very obliging. Very pale fish because the water was quite murky. But now it's been changed into the new Trout Lake. It's a bit smaller, so it might be a little bit easier to find the fish and spot the fish. It certainly won't be easy to catch the fish because I am no fly fisherman. I'm a terrible, terrible fly fisherman. I've only ever caught one trout on the fly, ever. But, you know, practice makes perfect, and why not come and practice here? I'm hoping, of course, to catch some of the resident trout. There's brown trout and rainbow trout and tiger trout. There's blue trout and golden trout. There's even rumours of some char in there. There's all sorts of different types of trout, based upon the main species of trout, of course, which are the brown trout and the rainbow trout. I'm going to have a little look round, see what I can spot with my polarised glasses, which I've lost over here. You need polarised glasses for this, so you can spot the fish. I'm just going to really, really slowly creep around, see what's happening, see if the fish are in the margins and the edges, if there's any fly life around. Whether that's the correct thing to do, I don't know. Perhaps I should just set up a rod and get going. But I feel as though I've got all day, so I'll make the most of spending some time thinking about it before I get here. Of course, if I catch a species of fish, fantastic. That's species number 15, or variety fish number 15, and that's brilliant. But if I don't, I would have learnt so much information and practiced my fly fishing. And the more practice I get, the better I get, right? Right? So I've been recommended as a fly to begin with, because I've been looking around at bugs and flies flying about and things on the surface, and there isn't really anything I sort of can say that there's a multiple of, or the fish I have seen, because I've seen a couple topping 4, but I've been recommended something big and white. Now this is about as big as I've got. I don't have anything sort of huge in my repertoire, but it's white. It's got a little bit of red on it, but we'll give it a go. Ooh, where to start though? There's a lot of fluff, but there's fish moving in the fluff on the surface. I think I've just got to go round and give it a go, haven't I? I've just got to give it a go. I've just got to stop talking about it and get into it. Well, as anticipated, I haven't caught a thing. It's the first 2 hours of the day are up, and nothing. Well, that's not entirely true. I had 2 very good mistakes. Well, they weren't very good because I missed them, but you know what I mean. Where I'd cast the fly in and a swirl happened around it, and a fish obviously went for it and then just either missed it or thought about it and thought, no, at the last second I'm not having that, I'm not eating it. But they sort of, for the first half an hour there was nothing, and then they sort of fed. There was maybe 6 or 7 trout, which I could see sort of coming up regularly and swirling at the top, and then sort of after about 10 minutes of that, disappeared. So maybe that's what they're going to be doing today, sort of coming on the feed, going off the feed, coming on the feed, going off the feed. I was a bit shaky to begin with. I needed that half an hour to begin with because my casting is so, I'm just keeping an eye on the lake, but that's why I'm going like that. If they slightly come on again, I'm going to run back out there. Plus, otherwise I'm talk to you and I'll miss the fish, won't I? But yeah, my casting was a little bit shaky to begin with. I'm getting better at it again. I'm remembering what I should be doing. But I've just come back to sort of think, well, what other things have I had in that little thing? When you get the fly out, it looks all fluffy and delicious like that. But when it goes in the water, that's what I was dealing with. A white fly, and it's mostly red. Well, it looks mostly red. But this was the fly they were going for anyway. So that was a good shout from the guys at the tackle shop at Angler's Paradise. That was Joe. Well done, Joe. Thank you very much. I didn't catch anything on it, but that's the fly I had the interest on. Currently, I've got a big white fluffy thing, biggest one I've got like that, and it's got a big lump of white foam glued to the back of it to make it float on the surface. And that's had no interest whatsoever. Although I can cast it a lot better. But now I'm just thinking, what else? You know, I mean, I've got a few white things, but these have got little sort of eyes on them. Maybe I'll give that a go. It's got a bit of yellow on there as well. But I know, but when that gets into the water, it's not going to look like that. If it stayed like that in the water, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But it's just going to look like a yellow blob, isn't it? With a little weird tail on it. So I don't know. When I've come down here before and fished, I've used things like these little daddy long legs sort of things. So maybe I would go for something like that. I do have some sort of pellet imitations. I'm sure these fish get fed fairly regularly on pellets, but that kind of feels a little bit like cheating, doesn't it? Feeding a pellet for it's got to be a fly, isn't it? This little fella down here looks quite good. A little bit whiter. I don't know what that is. What is that? It's like a little... Oh, it's like a... To be fair, I don't know what half of these flies' names are. It's like a little white butted brown thing. I don't know. I haven't seen any white butted brown bugs in the undergrowth, but you never know, do you? I've got like a white blob, maybe. I'll try a little blob. Sort of thing's more like a pellet though, isn't it? And that's definitely a maggot. I need to increase my fly box, really. I need more variety. But then again, this should be more than enough, shouldn't it? You know, I think same with lure fishing. I've got hundreds and hundreds of lures which I barely ever use because lures catch the angler, don't they? And I'm fairly sure that's exactly the same as what happens with flies. You go and pick a few flies out, like, oh, that's nice, oh, that's nice, and then you never ever use them. You stick to the same 4 or 5 things, don't you? Well, I certainly do with lures. I have like my 4 or 5 lures, and to be fair, I haven't used barely any of it. What you can see, because they're all near enough pristine.